Alexander the Great is undoubtedly one of the most celebrated figures in history. Known for his extraordinary military conquests and the vast empire he established. However, like many historical figures, there are dark aspects of his life and reign that are often overshadowed by his accomplishments. In this essay, we will delve into some of the darker facts about Alexander the Great. Massacres and brutality. Alexander was responsible for numerous massacres and acts of brutality during his conquests. One of the most infamous incidents was the siege of Tyre in 332 BCE. After a long and grueling siege, Alexander ordered the massacre of 8,000 Tyrian soldiers and the enslavement of 30,000 civilians. The burning of Persepolis. In 330 BCE, Alexander ordered the burning of Persepolis, the ancient capital of the Persian Empire. The city was looted and then set ablaze, resulting in the destruction of countless historical and cultural treasures. Some historians suggest that this act was motivated by revenge and a desire to symbolize the end of Persian rule. Treatment of Thebes. When the city of Thebes rebelled against his rule in 335 BCE, Alexander responded with extreme brutality. He ordered the city to be razed to the ground, and thousands of its inhabitants were killed or sold into slavery as an example to deter future uprisings. Assassination of Cletus the Black. In a fit of drunken rage in 328 BCE, Alexander killed one of his closest friends and commanders, Cletus the Black. This act of violence shocked many of his followers and raised questions about his mental stability. Paranoia and suspicion. As his conquests continued, Alexander's paranoia and suspicion of those around him grew. He executed several high-ranking officers and friends on suspicion of conspiracy. This atmosphere of fear and distrust created a tense and unstable environment within his inner circle. Cultural imperialism. While Alexander is often celebrated for spreading Greek culture throughout his empire, this process was not always peaceful or voluntary. He enforced Hellenization, sometimes through coercion and violence, which resulted in the suppression and assimilation of indigenous cultures. Allegorification. In later years of his life, Alexander began to believe that he was a god, or at least the son of a god. This megalomaniacal belief led to a cult of personality surrounding him, which some argue contributed to his increasingly autocratic and tyrannical behavior. Excessive drink. Alexander had a well-documented problem with alcohol. He frequently indulged in heavy drinking, and it was during one of these episodes that he killed Cletus the Black. His excessive drinking may have contributed to his erratic and violent behavior. Treatment of women. Alexander's treatment of women was often callous and disrespectful. He engaged in polygamous relationships and married several women for political purposes, often discarding them when they were no longer useful. Notably, he married the daughter of Darius III, the Persian king he had defeated, but then abandoned her. Impact on conquered peoples. While Alexander's conquests undoubtedly had a lasting impact on the world, the immediate consequences for the people he conquered were often devastating. Many faced forced labor, displacement, and cultural assimilation under his rule. Destruction of historical records. Alexander's campaigns sometimes resulted in the loss of irreplaceable historical records and artifacts. The burning of Persepolis, for example, led to the destruction of vast amounts of knowledge and history. Shortened lifespan. Alexander's relentless military campaigns took a toll on his own health. He died at the young age of 32, possibly due to illness or poisoning. His quest for conquest ultimately cost him his life and left his empire in chaos. Succession crisis. After Alexander's death, his empire plunged into a period of turmoil and conflict as his generals fought for control. This period, known as the Wars of the Diadochi, resulted in further suffering and instability for the conquered peoples. In conclusion, while Alexander the Great is celebrated for his military achievements and the extent of his empire, it is important to acknowledge the darker aspects of his life and reign. His brutal tactics, megalomania, and impact on the conquered peoples cannot be overlooked. History is a complex tapestry, and understanding the full spectrum of a historical figure's actions is essential for a more comprehensive view of their legacy. Alexander's greatness is undeniably tempered by these darker facts, which serve as a reminder of the complexities of human history.